Hey guys, in this video, I will be showing you how my sustainable velocity blueprint can help you get rid of your arm pain and improve your throwing velocity without having to rely on traditional physical therapy or PRP injections. By the end of this video, you will know what steps you need to start taking to get rid of your arm pain, improve your throwing velocity, and build an arm that stays pain-free. Just so I'm not wasting anybody's time, this video is only for players who are tired of their arm pain from keeping them from reaching their full potential. This video is also only for players who are willing to commit to the process and work hard to achieve the results that they desire. This video is not for players who had any sort of surgical procedure performed to their throwing arm over the past 12 months. This video is also not for players who are not willing to work hard and commit to the process. But if you are a high school or college age pitcher who is tired of letting your arm pain hold you back from reaching your full potential, you're going to want to stick around because I'm going to show you how to get rid of that arm pain and take your game to the next level. If you're watching this video, you've probably tried traditional physical therapy, ignoring your arm pain, or may have even gotten a PRP injection. If this is you, the Sustainable Velocity Blueprint is going to be way different than anything else you've ever tried. This is because oftentimes the providers prescribing these interventions do not know the first thing about throwing mechanics, or how symptoms in the throwing arm are oftentimes a result of strength, mobility, and motor control deficits found elsewhere in the body. First, a little bit more about myself. My name is Matt Starkman. I am a physical therapist and certified strength and conditioning specialist. I graduated from Duquesne University in 2021 with my doctorate in physical therapy. At an early age, I began pitching and I struggled with arm pain. I was disappointed with the generic TheraBand exercise routine that I was given that didn't help my arm pain at all. This ultimately led to me having to give up pitching at an early age and kept me from reaching my full potential. This experience stuck with me and motivated me to develop a system that would change the way that arm pain was approached. I began to understand that the arm was just one part of the system that needed to work in conjunction with all other parts of the system. Meaning that if one part of the system wasn't doing its job properly, that the arm was going to take on an increased amount of stress. I also realized that the body self-imposes limits on itself to prevent injury, meaning that velo plateaus are oftentimes a result of the body trying to protect itself from further harm. I began studying how to fix the system to get all the parts of the body to pull their load, in addition to building an arm that could withstand the forces that were being placed upon it. It is from here that I developed the Sustainable Velocity Blueprint, which has helped many players throw harder without the arm pain that they've become so accustomed to. Luke Truman was one of the athletes that came to me last year with hopes to sign his first contract in the Frontier League. After struggling with elbow pain and trying PRP injections along with physical therapy, Luke reached out to me with hopes to make a change. After several months of work, Luke went from mid-80s with elbow pain to topping out at 94 miles per hour and signing his first contract in the Frontier League.
I came to Matt as a guy who had plateaued with their velocity. I was stuck at 88, 89 miles per hour pretty much all of college. When I met with Matt, the first thing we did was look at my mechanics, and he was able to pinpoint exactly where I wasn't timing up my mechanics the right way, and also where I was potentially leaking velocity. Matt came up with a plan for me to fix all that. And over the next few months, I was able to see physical changes in how I throw a baseball. And remember, it was in July. It all clicked for me, and everything finally came together. And I went from sitting 88, 89 to sitting 90, 91, 92, and on my best days, topping at 94. And I credit Starkman to that, because without him, I would have never got over that hump. So thank you, Matt.
Luis was another pitcher who reached out to me struggling with elbow pain and was struggling to break through as a pitcher on his high school varsity baseball team. After several months of work, Luis went from mid-70s to mid-80s, becoming one of the dominant pitchers on his high school varsity team, helping his team close out a win in the district championship game, along with going on to commit to one of the top Division II baseball programs in the country.
I met Matt my junior year of high school, where expectations weren't too high for me, and I had elbow and shoulder issues during the fall. He helped me with my mechanics a lot. Before, I was throwing in a way that was very injury risk, and he was able to fix my sequencing, the way my body moved, in ways that could help me throw faster as well as keep me healthy for longer. He was able to bring me up from being somebody that could barely have a reliever spot on the team and make me somebody that was a starter for a 6A Whitfield championship team.
Now you're probably wondering, how does this all work? After working with a number of high school, college, and professional pitchers, I boiled this down to a simple 3-step process. But first, before we dive into that, you first need to understand what causes arm pain when throwing. Arm pain is oftentimes a result of two things. One, overthrowing. Overthrowing is the player failing to utilize and capture energy from the delivery and transfer it into the throwing arm, thus leading to the arm having to overwork. 2, the arm itself not being adequately prepared and conditioned to withstand the forces that are being placed upon it. Throwing is violent. The shoulder internally rotates at more than 7,000 degrees per second. The elbow experiences more than 55 pounds of traction forces at layback, and the arm experiences more than 1.5 times body weight and traction forces at ball release, meaning that your shoulder is literally fighting from being pulled out of the socket every time you throw. The reality is, the harder you throw, the more stress that is being placed on your throwing arm. So what do? How do we attack these issues? Pillar number 1, the lower half. A player's ability to store and transfer energy oftentimes stems from their ability to hold tension in their rear leg as they move down the mound, as well as stabilize their lead leg at front foot strike. The longer the player can hold tension in their back leg, the more energy that they can store. The quicker that they can stabilize their front leg, the more energy that gets transferred up the chain into the throwing arm. Learning how to do this often starts with understanding a player's individual hip anatomy, along with teaching a player how to properly hinge or hold tension in their glute as opposed to their quad. Pillar number 2, a stacked and stable trunk. In order to transfer all this energy that was created by our lower half into the throwing arm, a stacked and stable trunk is essential. A stacked trunk can be described as one in which the thoracic diaphragm sits directly over the pelvic diaphragm. This allows for both optimal stability and optimal mobility in the spine, allowing for things like increased hip to shoulder separation. Learning how to do this starts with learning how to obtain this position from a static or non-moving position, followed by learning how to get in and out of this position dynamically with a variety of water bag, medicine ball, and other throwing related drills. The third and final pillar to getting rid of arm pain is developing a bulletproof throwing arm. At the end of the day, no matter how efficient your throwing mechanics, the arm still experiences an abnormal amount of stress. We must have a throwing program that is designed in a way in which we strengthen our throwing arm in throwing specific positions and provides optimal stability to both the shoulder and elbow joints. These muscles must be trained eccentrically and isometrically, not just concentrically, as is the case with many TheraBand exercises. Along with this, we need to develop a proper throwing program that gradually progresses and increases the amount of stress on the throwing arm so that we can build adequate adaptations. So if you're a pitcher struggling with arm pain or a velocity plateau and you want to learn more about what it looks like to work with me, here's an example of what one of my programs looks like. First, we'll start with an in-depth history, learning the details of your exact situation. Then I will provide an in-depth breakdown of your throwing mechanics, analyzing different points within the throwing progression. From here, you will perform a comprehensive movement assessment that connects your current throwing mechanics to your specific mobility, strength, and motor control deficits. With this information, we will then be able to develop a plan for you that is formed around the 3 pillars that were previously discussed. Once you have this plan, I will be with you each step of the way, holding you accountable and providing you with valuable feedback. So if you're ready to get started and you want to know exactly what you need to do to get rid of your arm pain and improve your throwing velocity, DM me the word ready or click the link below to get started.
My number one thing that I love about working with Matt is being able to understand a little bit more about why I'm doing things, especially when it comes to pitching drills and the way my body moves. I've learned a lot throughout this year working with Matt. I've learned a lot about how the body should move, most efficient ways to get the ball to go faster, and there's nobody else that I would want to be working with than him.
Just as a final disclaimer, I do not diagnose or treat injuries online. What I do is performance coaching focused on mechanics, workload, and arm capacity, the same things that often drive arm pain in pitchers. Many athletes see improvements in their arm pain, but this is performance coaching, not physical therapy.